second Gobe Festival 2025. Gonna happen at the Legon City Mall car park. CM King Star. You have to be there. Tell you what, there'll be lots and lots and lots of vendors, lots of Gobe and Aiple and pudding from pudding masters. Also going to be some fruit juices. I mean, you gotta love it, I tell you. The Gobe Festival is always a vibe. You're a lover of Gobe. Come and let's do some Gobeletics, Gobelicis, Gobeticals. Lord Gob himself will be there. You got to be there. Kid count. Inviting you. Want to and sell your Gobe or any other commodity that is edible. You want to come and exhibit, or you want to come and sponsor, it's called 053 1100927 or 053 22000927. Saturday. Wear your best, wear something nice. It's going to be a swell time. From kring kring to krang krang. You understand? We expect you to join us. Those who like their gobe as simple as ABC, they like just the beans with gari, with palm oil, the tatale or cocoa. That's all. Then there are those who like the extras. Those who like some sausage with it, some egg, some fish, like some meat or meat. Whichever it is that you want. We got you covered right there on Saturday, the 22nd of March. 10 a.m. sharp. 053 1100927 053 22000927. We'll go into the much advertised conversation that we promised you. Actually, I mentioned it on Johnny's Bite. I mentioned it on Community Voices. Man is here in flesh and blood.
The best in the morning.
Ahmed Ibrahim is the MP for the good people of Banda. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs is here in flesh and blood. Robo, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Menu.
And Happy New Year.
Many happy returns.
I've not seen you this year. Yes, this year I've not seen you.
And we have seen you several on TV.
Likewise.
I see you every day.
Likewise. How is the constituency doing?
Oh, the constituency is doing very good. Before I will go there, let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. You know, 3FM is Media Generais.
Right.
Sunrise
One of my favorites.
Thank you very much.
Places that I have to listen to you at least thrice a day.
Thank you.
I
We're
listen
grateful.
to 3 of your programs.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're grateful.
So this is greetings from my constituency. Everybody is happy about you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And your good selves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ghana is blessed having you. And I must let you know so that if somebody is doing something good, let the person know.
Right.
So that you will do the good the more.
Right.
But if that is not, maybe the person trying to impress you may veer from the good that he was doing.
Right.
So if it is good, let people know.
Thank you
If it's
very
bad,
much.
let people know.
Thank you.
By Johnny, you are one of the fearless and truthful people in this country. And I believe that is how ideal journalism should be. So keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
But let me greet the good people of Ghana, the staff of the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and the good people of Bana,
Right.
who gave me the opportunity to be here, working with the lively people from the ministry. You ask how the people of Bana are feeling.
That's right.
Johnny, to choose 60 people out of 33 million Ghanaians is not easy. So if the people of Bana are privileged to be honored with that opportunity, I think you can imagine the kind of happiness
I see.
that will be on the face of everybody in the constituency and the entire Bono region as a whole, especially my regional chairman, Chairman Kojonya Michemafo, with his dedicated regional secretary and the staff.
Right.
They are all very happy having me appointed. And Therefore, everybody is happy, using their strength, wisdom, everything to support me to make sure that I excel.
Right.
And here I am. You have given me the opportunity to explain some of those issues. So thank you.
Your work as a parliamentarian, we'll come to the ministry, but you've had the opportunity to be on the front bench. What weight does it put on your shoulders? Tell me.
Johnny, I'm one of the few, to be precise, I'm the first person to occupy that seat for 3 terms.
Congratulations.
It has never happened before. To be a deputy whip in the leadership of parliament for 3 terms has never happened. The most will be 2 and you will be voted out.
Right.
1 and you'll be voted out. But I have been in parliament for this is my 5th term in parliament.
Right.
And I was in the leadership for 3 terms. You asked me, it's a matter of respecting everybody. I was at the age of 30, I was at the age of 34 when I entered parliament. At 39, I was in the leadership of parliament. And I served in the leadership of parliament up to 50 years.
Wow.
So I'm now 51 and I'm a cabinet minister.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Which takes me then to, okay, you're going to tell me about the pressures that they put on
Johnny, you know, there's no pressure. As leadership of parliament, you have professors, PhD holders, every pool of opinion person, shade of opinion person sitting behind you.
Right.
So yours is to respect them and know that, not that you know, that's why you are seated there.
Right.
You are there to serve them. So if you respect them, everything you needed, they will give it to you. And therefore, you know, coming from a very rural constituency, I knew where I came from. I needed to respect everybody to be able to carry them along. And by so doing, you could see that everybody fell in love with me. And you could see the old man who will come and stand before you, leader. Sometimes, this old man calling me leader. So you needed to serve the person the more. You know, respect is reciprocal.
That's right.
And the mere fact that I understood them, understood their feelings, respected them, served them well, that's why they gave me the opportunity to be able to serve on that distance for 3 terms.
Wow.
Even this particular one, a lot of them were saying that, no, I should stay. For the rest of my colleagues to go to the ministry, I should stay. And I said, no.
No.
When you need to exit the stage when the stakes are very high.
Right.
And when the applause is high, then you exit. If I've been there for 12 years, I've been in the parliament for 16 years, and 12 of them have been used to serve on both sides. I was a deputy majority whip, then a deputy minority whip. So I've seen both sides of the coin, and I know what it takes. In fact, if it comes to the leadership, I'm not bragging. I had the opportunity to be exposed to a lot.
Okay.
But I served under
Sunrise on 3FM.
the current speaker as a majority leader. Serve under Dr. Kumbo as majority leader, Cletus Avoka as majority leader.
Right.
Then serve under Haruna Idrisu as minority leader, serve under Atufosin as minority leader, and serve under Chiven Sambonsu as a minority leader and a majority leader. So I saw both sides.
All of it.
Yes. How to get information from the other side, I know. And how to support the other side and each side, I know.
Right.
And sometimes when you are outside, you think you are representing only one side. It's not like when you are inside, your duty is to make sure that parliament as a body excel. And therefore, if something, I remember when something was going on very badly in the opposition side, back when as a majority, I had to go to the caucus meeting and call them to order. Look, Ghanaians are watching you. Your duty is to make sure that you organize yourself to do the oversight well. But the ideal majority leader would have been praying that the other side collapse.
Right.
But in this case, he went there to help them to reform it. So Parliament is operating as a body. And the pressures we are talking of, the pressures are there. But if you respect them, the people who you need to be able to subdue the pressures are also there. And thank God I did it. Excellent. And I love doing it. When you are losing, you know. When you are winning, you know. And that is why when the applause was so high, we knew we were winning. Our prayer was, look, let's work hard and win.
Right.
When we win, then we also go to the ministry. And thank God, we have won and all of us have gone to the ministry.
Congratulations.
This is what we prayed for.
We'll come to the ministry in a bit. But what kind of a person is Ahmed Ibrahim? Growing up, the alliances that you have formed, friendships, education. Talk to me.
Ahmed Ibrahim is I used to be a pure business student from secondary school.
Okay.
Up to sixth form. After sixth form, I came to Legon, then did arts. And it changed my mental mindset.
Okay.
When in fact, both O-level, A-level, I was the best accounting student.
Wow.
And O-level, I had 1, A-level, I had A.
I see.
In the absence of the teacher, I could teach the entire class. So my mindset was profit. Then when I came to Legon, I was given political science because I did accounting and government in A-level. So I was given politics. And it changed my mental, my mindset, and my whole being. And that is where my moral asset was given to me in the University of Ghana campus.
Right.
So my mindset changed from profit to selflessness, from selfishness to selflessness.
Right.
And that's where I combine political science with philosophy. So altruism, justice, selflessness.
Egalitarianism.
That's where we learned those concepts, and totally it changed me. So Ahmed is a very morally conscious person who always want to even use morality to overshadow legality.
Your family,
then
how do they feel about you being at the forefront, at the helm of affairs? Sometimes some unpalatable things are said about you. Sometimes you get your flowers as well. How do they feel?
My family is used to, and my mother is used to. When I won my first election to come to Parliament, my uncle went to my mother and advised her that now that Ahmed has won, Ahmed has become a politician, remember that he is now being born by the whole country and not only you.
I see.
So you will not get in like you used to have him. And sometimes it takes this months before I have access to my mother.
I see.
My wife too is used to. My wife is also used to. And thank God, I stay in Accra with my wife, and I stay in Accra with I have only one child.
Okay.
And I stay in Accra with the child as well. He's in Legon as I speak to you.
Okay.
And the name is Ahmed Ibrahim, but I'm a Pentecost elder.
How? Tell me.
I know you asked that question.
Yes, how?
And President Mama will be the best person to answer this. I was not surprised when I became the minister responsible for chieftaincy and religious affairs. Half of my family is Christian, half is a Muslim.
Oh, I see.
And we were all born and baptized Presbyterians.
Okay.
Then there was a breakup. Then my father went to Mali and became a Muslim.
Okay.
And sent word that they should change our names and took us to Islamic schools.
Okay.
And that's where my name became Ahmed.
Ahmed Ibrahim.
But my father is Ibrahim.
But prior to that, what were you called?
I was supposed to be called. I don't want to tell you.
You have to tell
I was supposed to be called a different name, but I won't tell
but you are a friend. You are a friend, honorable. Leader, you are a friend.
This is a camera. My pastor told me that, look, the Ahmed, don't change it. Don't change the
Pentecost pastor.
Don't change it. He told me that for you to be able to bring for your whole life to be a testimony.
Right.
Don't change those kind of things. But I was born and baptized
a Presbyterian
up to class 3.
I see.
So the Ahmed changed in class 3.
I see. So before class 3, what were you called?
Before class 3.
Yeah.
Johnny, I'll tell you.
Elder Ahmed Ibrahim. Why don't you want to share?
Johnny.
Elder.
This is my pastor said. This is a name I didn't use. It didn't bear any of my official documents.
I see. So
it has been.
You've wiped it away.
No, they just class 3. Honestly speaking, I was supposed to be called Alexander Kweju Mensah. I'll tell you.
Okay, Alexander Kweju Mensah.
Mensah Kweju Alexander.
That's a beautiful
That
name.
was my Presbyterian name.
I see. Let's talk about the ministry. Now, these are 2 ministries put together? 3, in fact, 3.
I use it in 3. It's 4.
4 ministries.
4
so there's local government.
The Zongo, regional reintegration, local government, chieftaincy. All these things have been brought together.
4 ministries in one.
It's 4 in 1.
Are you capable?
That's why I'm telling you that I'm a man of different size, both profit and selflessness.
Right.
I'm a voluntarist.
Right.
I work voluntarily, and that's why I was able to do it. And thank God, so far, so good. If you have good motives, you can do well. But if your mindset is to make profit, then that is not a good place for you. You know, the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Ministry is a social programs-driven ministry.
Right.
The Zongo Ministry is also a social programs-driven ministry. The sanitation and local government is both social and both infrastructure. Where you need to monitor sanitation infrastructure, local government infrastructure. So it's, and the regional reintegration, you know, that one was even collapsed before this time. And that one too is infrastructure-driven ministry. So the infrastructure aspect is true, and the social aspect is true.
Right.
And as a long-time standing politician, the social aspect is not a problem for me.
Right.
And the infrastructure aspect is also not a problem for me because I've been a long-standing member of the local government committee.
Right.
And I know the history of almost everything in the ministry. And being a Pentecostal elder, I know the religious and the
nuances.
And be a politician, as for the chieftaincy aspect, you need to know how to be able to work with chiefs.
Right.
So the ministry is not anything new to me, and therefore, myself, I'm happy so far, so good. What we've been able to achieve so far, I'm so happy. And going forward, it's going to be one of the best ministries in the country.
When you went to the office the first day, what ran through your mind? When you sat in your chair, what ran through your mind?
Oh, you know, wherever I operate, man is to leave a legacy that even when I'm not there, people will be yearning that, oh, we wish Ahmed were to be here. And that is the legacy I want to leave. One, I had to allay the fears of the technocrats who were there. You know, Ghanaians, we've been polarized to the point that everybody belongs to a side.
Right.
And therefore, when there's a regime change, people begin to be afraid. What is going to happen to us? So as a minister, I needed to allay the fears. Well, back home in University of Ghana, we were taught about the principle of anonymity and neutrality of the civil service. And how they are the unseen rulers. So I needed to get the best out of them. To get the best out of them, you need to allay their fears and let them have confidence that, look, even though there's a regime change, we are here to build a mother Ghana.
Right.
And that was my target for the first day when I sat on the throne. And I was able to get this across. And you could see that everybody, they also promised me that, look, Minister, you know, when you tell us to jump, we'll jump higher than the expectation. So what we expect from you is to tell us accurately what you need us to do. And that, since then, I'm working with a lovely team.
I see.
I'm working with a lovely team. Everything you want to be done will be done and on time. So myself, when I sat in the chair, my duty is to challenge the status quo, make sure that we are able to reset the ministry.
Right.
Because President Mahama didn't talk to me when he was resetting, when he was forming the ministry. But myself, I have understood him clearly what he wants, and that is the best thing that he has done.
So he didn't tell you expressly what he wants you to go and do in terms of your KPI?
The EI was set before the appointment.
Right.
The executive instrument, the 23 ministries were created before the ministers we were appointed. That's what I mean.
That's right.
And in reducing from 30 to 23, it was local government and transport that took the shocks. You know, aviation, railways.
That's right.
They were all merged with transport.
That's right.
Then religious affairs and sanitation was broken into two. Half went, the water aspect went to Western Housing.
Right.
And then the sanitation came to local government. And this is how the local government ministry used to be. Previously, before 2017, this is how Ministry of Local Government used to be. So it was later disintegrated and given to 9 people to go and do. And clearly they were operating in silos, duplicity of roles and all those kind of things. And the ministry was always collapsed. So you could see that the MMDAs were not functioning.
Right.
Because the same money that was supposed to be going to the MMDAs to work was capped and given to President's Development Initiatives. Then part of the money went to Ministry of Sanitation. Then part went to Zongo. Then part went to regional integration. So it's like the DCEs and the technocrats at all the 261 assemblies were all there, nothing to do. So some were not even going to work. So the first day I sat in the office, I told them, look, there's a reset agenda. The president has reintegrated and reformed the ministry. What used to be under the Ministry of Local Government is coming back. And because of that, everybody, I've given everybody grace period up to 31st of this month. After 31st month, there is going to be a staff audit in all the 261 MMDs.
I see.
Because the way we were doing, almost all the decentralized structures were collapsed. They were not going to work and nobody could check. And how is it? We brought you to a rural area to come and reform the rural area, but you are staying in the urban center and you don't come to work. Meanwhile, you are drawing salary. So these were some of the challenges.
So you want to change that?
We didn't want it to be a witch hunting. That's why we told them, look, we've given you up to 31st.
A grace period.
The grace period. So after 31st, and I told the head of local government service, the chief director of the local government service, make sure you send a circular to almost all the MMDs. There will be a staff debate and there will be a staff audit and there will be a headcount.
Right.
So, and this will be frequent. So if from time, at that time, if we come to your assembly and you are not at post, it means you don't exist. And that vacancy will be cancelled. So these are some of the initiatives that I...
But presently, you don't have your MMDCs at post. When are we getting them, by the way?
Oh, I know clearly, before I assumed office, all the regional or consensus were supposed to bring names to region.
Right, shortlisted.
For region to shortlist them and bring 3 to Accra, for Accra to do their vetting. And this thing was done. The kind of acrimony that we said, because we had just come out from elections, and some were trying to use it to punish others. But we are in the same party together. The fact that we are going to election, I don't support you, does not mean that when I qualify for a position, you say, because I didn't support you, you will go and give it to your supporter. Chief executive position is to get somebody to represent the president.
That's right.
It is not just for ordinary favoritism where somebody who does not qualify will be chosen to go and represent the whole district to represent the president. So when I came, I realized that the kind of acrimony and the tensions that were building up, I needed to bring the tension down.
Right.
So I contracted Global Info Analytics and gave me all the 333 from the 261 that were brought to me.
Right.
And said, go to the ground and go and do your research and do it on both MPP camp, NDC camp, then opinion leaders about the suitability
of the candidates,
that were brought to me. Then we gave the same 3332 NIB, Bureau of National Investigation. You too, go and do your independent research. You and I didn't let Global Info to know that BNI is doing it. So everybody was working independently. After that, Global Info, within 2 weeks, he finished his report and brought it. And mind you, there were some 5 constituencies that even the residents said they didn't prefer either of the 3 shortlisted candidates.
I see.
They needed someone else. And that someone else in all those instances were mentioned.
I see.
And they came to me and I said, wow, then go back, change the research team. And change locations and go back to those districts and go and do research and bring me. And they did those kind of things. Then I had that report. NIB too brought their report and I had that report. So, but when they realized the kind of tension that was coming to me, later, it's a Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs.
That's right.
Pastors will be calling you, chiefs will be calling you, opinion leaders will be calling you. So the pressure on me was enormous. So when they came and I told them that, look, we need the best. And therefore, we've given it to a research team to go and do. So the people at the grassroots will bring out who is best suited for the position. then that brought the tension and the pressure on me down. People were no longer...
that you were going to handpick people, but we're going to choose people that the people had endorsed.
Yes, but Johnny, believe me, am I the most excellent person in NDC? No. By President, if I was able to cut the eye of the president, now, do you think that I would just sit down and go and handpick somebody that I'm coming to make you this? No, the president need to be guided to get the best, not the friends of Ahmed. I have my friends, but the positions are not created for my friends. The positions are created for those who are best suited for it. Then I realized that, look, the party must also be represented. Beyond the NIB, BNI, and regional vetting, because previously, whenever vetting was supposed to be done, national executives of the party were supposed to elect somebody to go and represent the national at the vetting in all the regions. They didn't follow it. So because of that, I also formed a national vetting committee.
Okay.
And I made sure I brought the general secretary of the party. He's the chief executive officer of the party. You can't be appointing DCs without his input. Then the national chairman, he is the chairman of the whole party. You can't be appointing MMDCs without his input. Then the presidency, he went round. Maybe he promised certain people, which I don't know. I was not in his presidential team. I was in Bruno when he was touring all the 16 regions. So I brought the government advisor on the presidency, Dr. Valerie Soya, also to be a member of the committee, so that any information from the presidency will be the committee will be guarded by it. Any information from the party will be guarded by it. Then there were members of parliament who campaigned in all the 276 constituencies. We needed their input. So I selected 3 MPs. Alaji Collins Dada, who is the eighth-time member of parliament.
A very respected
the minister for gender, to be able to represent the female. Dr. Namomo. She had been a NALAC president before. Then, and so she will know the caliber of a personnel that you need to be your DC. Then Honorable Cletus Avoka, who has been a majority leader of parliament before. Then we brought in. So all these were this was a 7-member committee that we formed. And these were people that not even me who have control over. And I deliberately did it. I wanted to build edges around myself against corruption. So who can bribe Dr. Valerie Soya? Who can bribe Asidou Ngedia? Who can bribe Fifi Kwete? Who can bribe Cletus Avoka? Dr. Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejira, who was MP, who is the chairman of all the 16 regional caucuses of the majority caucus. So I created it so that if you are MP and you have an issue, go to them. And everybody has a gate. MPs will talk to the committee through their MPs representative. Presidency will talk to the committee through the presidential advisor. Party will talk to the committee through the chairman. That's the committee I formed. So that I will be free. Johnny, after forming this committee, do you think that I will have the opportunity to say I'm going to tamper with the results that they will bring to me?
There's a case in Sojaman, for example, reported on Ghana Web, where they say that the shortlisted names, somebody's name was added when they were not actually part of the shortlisted name, and falsification of academic record, etc. A certain Sikanku, his integrity is in question, and all of that. Has that come to your attention?
In fact, the committee, Asojama is in Eastern Region.
That's right. That's
Eastern
area.
Region was supposed to be vetted yesterday, today. The Eastern and Central, they are being vetted this week. And such things, they will not bring those petitions to me. If you needed to write a petition, you petition the chairman of the committee. And send the petition there. The committee will call the petitioner and listen to your view and call the person concerned and listen to. If it is of the candid view of the committee that the petition carries some kind of salt, then they can consider it. In fact, a lot of people, that is why I said that because of our past election records, some people were victimized against. And that is why we formed the committee, so that if you were vetted in the region and you knew that the vetting process was not fair to you, petition the National Vetting Committee.
Okay.
They will call you.
Okay.
And listen to you. And
so the petitions are not supposed to come to you.
They'll go to
Dr. Valerie Sawyer, Shedun Ketia, Fifi Kwete.
Exactly. Of which they did.
I see. Let's talk about quickly the absence of the MMDCs and how the assemblies are supposed to be functioning now. You know, there's Act 936, which governs their work. In their absence, how do they function optimally?
Johnny, we wrote letters to the coordinating directors to hold the fort while MMDCs are being vetted to be appointed, subject to the approval. And even if you do that, it is the coordinating directors who will make sure they facilitate the process for the approval of these MMDCs.
Right.
Secondly, we have all the 16 regional ministers at post. Per the law, if a DC is not at post, the regional minister becomes the acting DC. So the regional ministers are working through the coordinating directors to hold the fort until the substantive ones are appointed. And if, as I speak to you, 10 regions, almost all, we are doing 4-leg processes.
Right.
We have done with all the 261, 3 processes have been done. The fourth one, which is the last vetting process of the national, we are done with 10 regions.
I see.
Yes, we have done with 10 regions with the report.
So 6 more to go.
Maybe 5 more to go. But the committee is working. They work from morning to night.
I see.
And they sit at the local government training institute. They work from morning to night. So, and the kind of work they themselves, these are party people. Fifi Kwete is the general secretary of the party.
Right.
His burden is to make sure that he has his DCs at post. As Ahmed Ibrahim is national chairman, his burden is to make sure that for the party to function, DCs must be at post. Dr. Valerie Sawyer, presidential advisor on governance, his headache is to make sure that DCs are at post for the president to be well represented, for the job load of the president to be jettisoned. Right. So clearly, their burden is even heavier than Mangu's self sitting here. And I did it strategically.
I see.
I didn't want, Johnny, you are a young man, they've given you post. It doesn't mean you know it all. Get the best people to do it for you. The Bible says a good leader surrounds himself with good people.
That's right.
So when you surround yourself with wise men, they will give you wise counsel and you will excel. They will mention your name. Meanwhile, it's not your brainchild.
Let's talk about sanitation or waste management. In these countries, a big problem.
Yeah.
What's your plan?
The plan, we came with a manifesto. And the manifesto was to make sure that we reintroduce the National Sanitation Day. As I speak to you, there's a committee on that regard. And the president has also formed anti-flood committee, of which I'm a member. Even as I sit here, 10 o'clock, we are moving to 5 flood zones.
Right.
We went with area, and it's myself and Works and Housing Minister. And even as I sit here, the women's caucus in Parliament are waiting for me to come and give them some kind of orientation. So you could see the kind of pressure that is on me as a person. But we must learn to do some of those things. The sanitation itself, we've reconstitute a sanitation task force.
Right.
And we've done a lot of sanitation forum where we brought Gamma, we brought Kokma, we brought the SY Minister of Sanitation itself, the workers together, to be able to tell her. Then we brought the private practitioners, private sanitation players like Zoom Layo, and they all came to do presentation before us as a ministry as to how best we can help fix the sanitation problem. Right. It was after this that we formed a task force that is going to make sure that we reintroduce the National Sanitation Day on the first Saturday of every month.
Right.
All these things were done up to March. So therefore, the first Saturday that is available for us to reintroduce the National Sanitation Day should be in April. And April 5th happened to be the day where the National Sanitation Day is going to be introduced. So that one will be introduced. Then beyond that, we must constitute a compliance sanitation compliance task force,
Okay.
which will make sure that people don't throw litter.
Are you bringing back Sama?
It is coming. That's why I say that it's compliance task force, because we have the laws and we have the bylaws. So people are saying you have to legislate, you have to do this. Even the few old laws that we have not exhausted utilizing them. But how do you utilize them? The compliance must be done by somebody, and that is the sanitation task force that we need to do. But we were informed that a task force was introduced by the former Greater Accra Regional Minister.
Right.
That one is nowhere to be found. So if you are going to do new one, you need to reach out to him.
Okay.
Why is it that his own was not sustainable?
They were not being paid. That's what it was. I remember they were trained at Burma camp, but they were not being paid. I mean, they have sat in front of me many times to talk about the fact that
so meaning if I'm constituting one, I must make sure that there's sustainable way of payment.
That's right.
So this, you need to interrogate the old one, get his problems, then solve the problem, use the problems to solve yours. And that is clearly what we are going to be. So there's some aspect will also come to play. But all these things, Johnny, will be very effective when our MMDCs are at post, which you know very well.
Right.
And there's going to be a sanitation leak.
Hey, tell me about it.
The National Sanitation League is also in our manifesto. The National Sanitation, if you are a DCE, and we have 261 districts, we've given every district your money to you. Just as the National Minister is wearing 3 hats, sanitation, chieftaincy, and local government. Every DC will be wearing all these 3 hats.
Is that not going to be too much?
Is it too much for the minister? Johnny, you see, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. That's why the DCE sit in his office and say that he's the DASEC chairman.
That's right.
So whatever we have in the center, back in the district, we must have it. And that is how decentralization works.
Okay.
And we want proper decentralization to be working. That people will not be moving from their district constituencies back to Accra to see what governance should be.
Right.
A chief should be able to go to his DCE. A pastor should be able to go to DCE for them to think about how best they can manage or they can govern their area very well. When that happens, the workload on the presidency will be lessened.
So you want to push down majority of the responsibility down there.
Responsibility with resources. And that's why in the budget, the Minister for Finance was categorical, and Cabinet has endorsed it, that 80% of the District Assembly Common Fund should go to the district.
You want to pay assembly members. Why? And where are you going to get the money from?
The money will be gotten from the budget, and it has been budgeted for about 100 million for 2025.
But why do you want to pay them?
This is allowance.
Okay. But why do you want to give them money?
You see, the kind of workload on assembly members is, take our parliament for instance. Parliament did not start as a salary paying this. Are you aware?
That's right.
But where are we now? Why did we later start to be paying us? And that's why Parliament used to sit from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 4 hours a day. Is that not how it is?
That's right.
But MPs were not giving vehicles and this kind of... It was some kind of voluntary work like the assembly members.
Right.
But where are we now? MPs are being given card, they are being given accommodation, they are being given salaries, they are giving all those kind of things. The same thing, but the assembly member, why do you think that when we started with the disassembly concert, it was very active. They were highly respected, very energetic and working. But of late, it's not like that. Of late, even responsible people don't want to go and even contest. Excuse me for that way. Because we are reducing and eroding the good aspect and the image and the fun. And because they are not doing the functions they are supposed to be doing. They see at the end of 1 month, no meeting, 2 months, no meeting.
Right.
Then when they see that Accra is coming to check them, then they will call some of the assembly members, they will write minutes, and they will sign and they will say, this assembly.
I see.
It's not like it used to be. But those days, assembly meetings, at least every quarter there must be assembly meetings.
That's correct.
At least.
That's correct.
But that is not being done now. Beyond that, the workload on assembly members, every assembly member, most of them are farmers, most of them are traders, most of them are teachers. But for those who are teachers, who are this, good for them. But for those who are farmers in the rural setup, he take his cutlass, I'm going to farm. Then all of a sudden, they bring a case. Then he has to put the cutlass down. He's now coming to go to the police station, either to go and grant somebody bail, either to go and adjudicate or arbitrate or so the kind of workload on assembly members, but you'll be shocked. But people think that, as for assembly members, then at the end of the year, you buy a motorbike. 4 years, you buy one motorbike for it. It's not enough, Roland. So give them resources and make sure they work. So now, the assembly members now, once you are giving them that kind of allowances, there will be some key performance indicators.
Okay.
Then you will task them to do proper monitoring of government structures.
Okay.
Then you task them to be able to do community action plans in their electoral areas.
Right.
Then you task them to be able to go use the necessary avenues like right to information bill, right to information law. Go to the assembly to deepen accountability, probity and accountability.
Okay.
How much is this school building that is given to her, and what is the source of funding, and who is the contractor, and what is supposed to be the duration, the work. So the assembly members, you will see them working, and when even though the allowance might not be that much, when you start with 1,000 cedis, in the coming years it will be increased, and then it now become a legitimate, substantive work for people. Every electoral area for people to be able to do. And it will put government on ethos, because there's going to be probity. We are going to deepen decentralization, and there's going to be accountability. Do you know that? I'm a minister, but I shouldn't be going deep into some of those things, because the technocrat will also think that I'm conceiving
preempting some of the things that they.
But honestly speaking, most of them don't call the assembly meetings. They don't do what they are supposed to do. And even some don't even report to work. Some don't even go. But you motivate the assembly member. The assembly member will now become the eye of the minister or the eye of the presidency. Will you imagine if I sit here and call an assembly member, how is your constituency? Is the DCE at work? Is the coordinating director at work? They will know that the assembly members will be empowered. They are now going to be the leg of the minister, and they will do proper work.
The assemblymen, part of their job, if you look at the rules that they're supposed to play, but are supposed to hold town hall meetings with their people. I don't know how many assemblymen hold these town hall meetings. It's only part of the KPI.
Do they even who ran the town? Who organized that town hall meeting? Now, that is when assembly used to be assembly, and the law, the Adnan 36 was promulgated with the concept of a proper decentralization system. You know, we did it in 2016, and we brought all the district assembly laws together to form one, and that's what we did. Clearly, I'm the DCE. The assembly members are supposed to oversight me, and you think that I will take my money, go and rent a hall, and organize town hall meeting? Assembly member now become convener of town hall meeting for them to come and check me. Will I do that? I won't do it. Clearly, it will not be. But once you motivate the assembly member, you give him 1,000 cedis. Even though it's 1,000 cedis, then beyond that, you give him other powers. Give them capacity building. And that's why we are reintroducing we are upgrading the ILGM into a university.
The local government school.
Local government school. We'll build the capacities of the assembly members, tell them what they are supposed to know and what they are supposed to do. And when we do that, the assembly members will be interrogating our own DCEs, and they will sit up. So if you know you don't have the capacity to be a DCE, don't vie for it, because much is going to be demanded from you, and you may not be able to deliver.
Recycling of our waste. Do you have a plan towards that direction?
That one is, to be honest with you, that is being done by a private player. And sometimes, Johnny, facts are facts. I was part of the committee of local government when the late Professor Mills and His Excellency John Mahama, together with Zoom Lion, were able to do the RCOP in Accra and this one in Kumasi, and started with treatment plan, and then there was a change of government. So when Anadu came and did not want to continue, Zumlayo was for it was the Committee of Local Government. We jumped in.
Okay.
And we went on almost 10 regions. Then we suggested that it's better the government work together with that waste recycling plan, and to make sure that they're able to sign an off-taker agreement with the private sector for him to be able to do more. As I speak to you, we have recycling plants in almost all the 16 regions.
All privately owned.
Privately owned. And that job must be privately owned. If government itself wants to go into it, I don't know how viable it's going to be.
But you deduct excise tax from us, right?
The sanitation.
Yes, excise tax.
Yeah.
And part of the proceeds from that is supposed to be used for recycling.
Exactly.
So where does the money go?
That's why I'm saying that government signs off-taker agreement with the private sector.
Right.
So that the private sector will be doing the recycling and all those kind of things. And the district assembly themselves, now that we are empowering the district assembly, what the private sector may not be able to do in all the 261.
Right.
But at least for the regions and the municipals, all the 16 are being done. They've commissioned about 14. They are left with 2 to be commissioned. And I was briefed, I took the briefing the last week. Even as I was coming here, I was going to call them to come and brief me on the remaining 2 as to how best we can engage them. That is on the waste recycling aspect. But Roland.
Johnny.
I didn't You know, Roland trained me in TV3.
I see. Roland is fair. I am that.
Roland is fair.
But that's my friend.
Roland trained,
very good friend.
He trained me. In fact, I was a good guy.
Right.
He trained me. When I came as a class prefect, as a young man class prefect, they trained me. Johnny, to be honest with you, the waste sector cannot be played by government alone. It's an avenue for corruption.
Okay.
Because when I say there's a heap here and I clear it, tomorrow you come and I say, oh, when I cleared the heap here, I paid about 20 million Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, I'm myself, and the heap will not be there, and there will be no proper way of auditing this kind.
Right.
So it's an avenue for corruption. Which we must not entertain. But we need to revisit that area very well. And that is why, for a start, we say that we are sending 80% of the common fund
to the
assemblies. So if there's no money here, how can you corrupt the system? We send the money to the assembly. And the assembly, when the money goes, the chiefs, the pastors, the DC, the assembly members, they're all there. And they will be made to know that this is how much we have brought to this assembly. So what you use the money for, the local people will ask you.
But then there's the centralization of the sanitation agreements. Usually signed in Accra, and then they say, oh, go to the...
Most of them are signed by the coordinating directors in the districts. That's a fact.
Okay, so it's not centralized.
No. Signed by the... If you go, most of them, almost all of them are signed by the coordinating.
Are you going to change the rules for Zoom Lion, or the rules will be maintained as they are?
No. Which company doesn't transform or reform? Zoom Lion himself will have to be reformed. And that's why I'm saying that even when there was change of government and the off-taker agreement was not signed in 2016, we needed to use Parliament Committee on Local Government to go and see as to whether what was being done and the NDC was good. But when we went, it was good. And if you go, and that's the only place where wastes are being recycled. And recycling is the only way to go. But even when I was coming as a Minister for Sanitation and I saw that a number of these were packed, a number of plastic rubbers were packed into tins and the place, I was not comfortable.
You won't be, of course.
Because you need to recycle them. And where will you recycle them? It's him. So as for the recycling, if you don't recycle them, they will end up in the sea. And when they end up in the sea, they will make our beaches and those things untidy. So as for the recycling, he's a leader in that regard. Maybe there's a need for us to re-engage him. It is not everything that he is doing that is good, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So what is it that we need him to do rightly? But other countries, as I speak, are also coming for...
Elder to elder. What would you tell him?
That's why... elder to elder. We have pastors who call us on the round table and we also arbitrate among us.
Right.
So when things are not going on... But the Zoom Lion I know, as a member of the Committee of Local Government, I used to go and tell him, Chairman, wait, if you do this thing this way, it will be good.
Right.
And as politicians, we also listen to public opinion.
Right.
What are the people saying about him? I need to tell him, this is what the people are saying. What is the truth in it? That's how leaders work.
Right.
So if there are sayings about Zoom Lion that are not good, we need to bring them on the table, then listen to his aspect. There were times last month, I made my officers do presentation to me.
Right.
There were certain things they said about another. Do you think Zoom Lion is seated here? You can say what you are saying. They say yes, okay. I said, okay, then give me the hard copy.
Okay.
Then I'll bring Zoom Lion. Then you do represent
the whole thing to Zoom Lion.
You represent the whole presentation. Then he also come out. Then I also invited him. He also do presentation. We are searching for the truth.
Right.
And clearly, in fact, not everything about him is bad. Excuse me. There's a better part of Zoom Lion that this country has benefited. And I'm asked one sanitation officer, do you think Ghana, with that Zoom Lion, this sanitation work we can do it as a matter? If you don't handle it well, and you say Zoom Lion should pack and go, if you don't take care, the situation will be worse than.
But the sweepers are not happy. The salaries are always in arrears, and they keep calling our lines.
That's where that is not under us. That is under Ministry of Youth Employment. That's why
right.
That is not.
But their work impacts on what you want to do, the bigger picture.
That's why I asked him. Then he said, he doesn't employ the people.
Okay.
They are employed by the YE. His is to manage them.
Okay.
So that is something that I need to engage. Now, how many are they? And these are things that I need to engage with
Malik Basintal.
Yes, Malik Basintal. Because clearly, I can see myself. I heard, we hear a lot.
Right.
I heard this, and that's why I invited him, and I wanted to hear from his side. How many are they? They say that are they? They say, these people. It's not like it's Zoom Lion who employed them. Then they will say, go and employ 100, and I'll go and employ 80. And be taking 100 money. It's not me.
Okay.
But they are employed by the YEA people. They are paid by the YEA people. So how can you come and be accusing me of this? So there is something myself and the YEA people need to meet on. And which I know. I told him last week, this meeting that I'm talking about, that happened last week.
Okay.
I told him that I'm going to meet him because I don't want, I don't want a situation whereby what I hear, I'm just going to work with it. When I hear something, I call the appropriate authority and ask you, this is what I've heard. What is your opinion about it?
Right.
Then we find the solution.
It's 12 minutes after 9 here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Johnnie Hughes. My guest is Ahmed Ibrahim, is the Member of Parliament for Banda. He's also the Minister for Local Government, Sanitation, Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. Yeah.
Local chief.
From let's talk about, in the spirit of looking for the truth, $43 million fell into the Odo River. We are yet to find it. You remember we were told about the regatta that we could have there, hotels built around there, we could have a ferry on it. You saw the video. It was told to us. In the spirit of looking for the truth, are you searching for $43 million for us?
Clearly,
Sunrise
Johnnie,
3FM, the best
in
the morning.
In engaging, you speak when you are done with your engagement.
Right.
When you are not done and you start talking, your intentions will be known.
Right.
And the rest of the truth will be missing.
Right.
So for the Odo River and those kind of things, give me time.
You are engaging.
Give me time.
Okay.
You are engaging. Even some of the contracts were not completed. And now it has been divided, but that component of the job goes to Western Housing.
Okay, microphone please.
But thankfully, it's me and Western Housing now have been used to form the sanitation and anti-flood task force.
Right.
So we work together, and the telepathy is there. So we work together, and the fullness of time,
I will get to the details.
Certain truth will come.
There's the Jesus industry. if you look at Paul Kagame, what is done in Rwanda, is put the hammer on who can become a pastor, who can set up a church. In our country, there's a proliferation of churches everywhere, pretty much like drinking sports. You are an elder.
Let me ask you.
Let me finish my question, elder. You are an elder of the church. Are you happy with the way things are going? Everybody is setting up something and they are all over the place. Are you happy as an elder of the church?
Yes. For the church aspect, it's yes and no.
Tell me why.
Yes to the point that Ghana is the most religious country. We have over 70% of Ghanaians who are Christians.
Right.
As an elder, which means proper evangelism is being done. No, because the kind of excesses that are sometimes being used to dupe our women and that kind of things, it is what is making the religious terrain sometimes looks very bad. But it is not bad as people may say. So what we are thinking of doing there, because what they also hate is that, we are going to legislate for government to control the churches like it happens in Paul Kagame's Rwanda.
Right.
That one, if you want to do that in Ghana, it will not work.
Why won't it work?
Oh, Johnny, it will not work.
Why?
And which politician can even do that?
You can do that.
Professor Makokwe was a pastor.
That's right.
His time, even I think the MP has passed.
Which MP is that?
They made one MP to bring a statement to Parliament that we needed to legislate against all those churches. I stood against it.
And you think that because...
And I asked him questions. I asked Makokwe questions he couldn't answer. And I said, when Jesus used his spite to open somebody's eyes, what was the chemical composition of his spite? If it were to be today, you think people will agree?
But then there's somebody will also say, which of Jesus' disciples was unemployed before he came to
But the question
Jesus?
I asked him is that, do you think that you can legislate against the Holy Spirit? Holy Spirit is Holy Spirit.
No, but there has to be a structure. Wasn't there?
What is the structure of the Holy Spirit?
No, there has to be a structure for the church.
Have you seen the Holy Spirit before?
There has to be a structure for the church. I'm not talking about spirituality.
Exactly.
I'm talking about religion. Yours is not spiritual affairs.
Exactly.
Yours is religious affairs.
But those things that the pastors are using, taking money from them, that one, they are using the spiritual, because sometimes it's a psychology,
Right.
excuse me to say, because they don't force you, but they make you to believe in them.
But if
with time, once you believe in them, with time, then you start.
But if
taking
there's a structure,
that is what. Yeah, the structure. So what we are saying
in your Church of Pentecost, for example, in my Anglican church, in your Church of Pentecost, you have the presbytery, you have the synod. There's a certain structure that comes along with it.
That thing will be. That is where we are going, but that's not what Paul Kagame is using. What we want to go for is for every church or every pastor to belong to one of the groupings.
Right, either Christian Council or
yes.
Pentecostal.
Either you are for GPCC. If you say you are for GPCC, Ghana Pentecostal Academy, you belong to them.
Right.
If you are for the Orthodox, you belong to them. If you are Anglican, you belong to them. So that if you claim to be a member of the Anglican Church,
right,
and you are going astray, the Anglican Church can be used
to rein you in.
Exactly.
Right.
If you claim you are a member of the charismatic churches and you are practicing something that is anti-charismatic, the charismatic churches can call you to order.
Right.
In that way, it will be peer regulation.
But now there are people who are not part of any grouping at all.
Exactly. That is where the worry.
Those husband and wife installations.
That is where we want to go to. If in fact, it's the only opportunity I see we can enter.
Okay.
Other than that, if you don't go that way, and you say I'm going to bring an omnibus, this in whereby all churches must belong to this. I ask a quick question. That day in Parliament, so when they mentioned my name, I'm the Minister for Religious Affairs. I said, wow.
God has chosen you to come and answer the question you asked.
I asked him, Mr. Speaker, if you say the government should regulate churches, can you imagine one day we may have a Muslim president? Then how will it be done? I asked him certain question, then before then he said, okay, the statement is referred to the Committee for Youth and Sports And from Okwe time to date,
nobody has.
the
statement is still there.
Oh, it's there. It has never resurfaced again. When he did that, I knew that he was finding a safe landing site so that he would land and the thing would never come.
But would you support? Would you support the call to have, say, first degree holders to become pastors?
What was the profession of the Simon Peter?
They were fishermen. They were,
but did they have degree?
But the concept is that they were all employed. Today you find people, forgive my French, who are not employed, and suddenly they say "Nyamia frame," and then before you know they started. And
the people were at the shore doing their fishing and they came to follow Jesus. So today, who am I to say that in the same shore, when somebody is called, if it's a man is called from there, and say you don't have degree, so this calling don't respond. Johnny, honestly speaking, on a very serious note, the only way we can do as a country is to have these self-regulatory bodies. Every pastor must belong to them. You can't be on your own.
I see. Churches that spring up in residential areas hold endless all-night services, loud decibels of music or sound. And if you go and talk about it, they say, hey, you are
pollution. That would be the duty of the MMDs when they are at post.
Right.
In fact, noise pollution must be brought to a certain level. And this thing is a genuine reason that we have to control that. I think the Environmental
Protection Agency
and the environmental,
they have their decibels, their accepted decibels.
We have a legislation in that regard.
Right.
So when the MMDC is at post, these are things that they can control. And even it is in the interest of the church itself to make sure that you are able to listen to the people. So sometimes preaching should not be noisy. You are trying to convince me by way of evangelism. So if you do things that will make me angry, it means you can't win me. So we will sit them down and they're coming. These are things that we can control.
Dr. Baumia said in the past that we must get to a point where we even pay churches for the good work that they are doing. What do you think? Should we pay them or should we tax them?
Maybe because he changed economics into principalities.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in
when econometrics is no more functioning and principalities are taking over, definitely that's where you will get to. You know, when he ran out of economic ideas, he said, no, he said there are principalities and this is so clearly, Dr. Baumia maybe had a case. But honestly speaking, the religious aspects, the pastors, even talking to them, they themselves are more concerned about what you are saying.
Right.
And gradually we are winning their heart. They are agreeing with us that, yes, we must do some kind of self-regulation so that the bad image being put out there will be...
What have they been saying about the National Cathedral?
But the National Cathedral, they voluntarily wanted to meet the presidency, but he said I should meet them.
Okay.
And I started meeting them one-on-one. You know, you need to meet them, listen to one-on-one for their explanation. And the explanation they are giving to me, you listen to that before you meet them as a group.
Right.
And the last time was supposed to be yesterday, one of them called me. We are meeting. But the National Cathedral has become a problem. A problem to the point that we need huge money before we can complete it. But we need to interrogate what has already been sunk in. So if you don't interrogate what was sunk in, how can you continue pumping more? And
are you going to endorse that the National Cathedral be built?
And I'm saying that if you don't interrogate, how can you either endorse or not endorse? You need to interrogate, investigate.
But if you interrogate and you find that, well, this is it, I'm asking you, are you going to continue building it?
This is your question.
Yes.
It's preempting that nothing bad will happen after the...
No, I didn't say that. Those are your words,
what if something
honorable.
bad happens in the interrogation?
As minister for chieftaincy and religious affairs, local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs, would you advise President Mahama to continue building the National Cathedral?
Will President Mahama even have the money now that he's going to continue?
So what are you saying?
That is why I say that let's meet the churches. This is how much has been sunk into. Let's do the investigation, the interrogation. How much? For all you know, what you know, the situation might be even more than what you know. And if you don't do diagnosis to know the kind of sickness, why will you be giving prescription?
Sunrise on 3
And
FM.
if sitting here as a minister, if I tell you, we are not going to continue, later if the narrative comes and shows that, we needed just one CD to be able to complete it, will I have the locals to say it again? No. But if I say, we are going to continue, then later the narrative comes to show that the thing is more than what we were expecting, will I have the locals to say? That's what I say. Let the professional investigative bodies,
Right.
the committee that we say we are going to form to investigate to know how much has truly gone into it. Was it budgeted for? Sitting at where I sit, if when I was talking at that time, people perceived that I was in opposition.
Right.
Meanwhile, I was speaking the truth clearly. Why is it that for 4 years, we didn't have the courage to budget for the National Cathedral? But we're taking money back door. What were we concealing?
Right.
But you see, and that is why we have come to where we are. You know, man look at the face of man,
Right.
superficial things.
Right.
But God looks
at the heart.
And the intention. So some of those things, before you can go deep into them, you need to know with your conscience and open heart, this is what I'm going to do. Johnny, I want to do this. If you disagree, fine. But I can't think that, if I say I'm going to do it, Johnny will not agree. Therefore, let me do it this way. As you are dodging Johnny, you are dodging God. So you think God will endorse it? So these are some of the complications that we had. But did the men of God also know? The question, even Parliament, it takes you 1 year, 2 years before you understand the budget.
Right.
I'm telling you, it takes you 1 year, 2 years. Like, that's what I was going to do today. They were going to organize a group for me to take them through the budgeting, how best they can go and do the budget debating. But I have been there for 17 years. But somebody who has just come, somebody who has not even gone at all, he's just preaching theology. Then you go and say that, you write a statement in the budget and say that the thing is in the budget. Meanwhile, you know that the statement is not the budget.
I see.
You understand? So who are you deceiving? So these are some of the complications that when you ask me in public, it's because you are asking me. You ask me, have you ever seen me commenting on it? But I wanted to be as silent as possible until I finish. We finish the engagement. But they will come and sit before me. And I don't want our papas and fathers to come and sit before me thinking that I have some preconceived idea which I don't have.
Many Ghanaians are asking that if wrongdoing is found, the people who are at the helm of affairs at the National Cathedral should be put behind bars to serve as a deterrent for others in future not to engage in same. What do you say to that?
But the Shrag report did not say the pastor. The Shrag report was about the secretariat. It was not about the pastor.
There are 2 pastors or 3 pastors at the secretariat. At the secretariat.
The names that were brought by the Shrag report, did not include the
There were no pastors there at the secretariat.
Yeah, I did not include the pastors.
Are you sure?
They did not include the pastors.
Are you sure?
And I don't even pray that it will include the pastors. Johnny, can you imagine we are living in this country? They say, then you are sending, the cathedral, this thing, it was full of all the papas.
That's right. the big guys.
Then are we going to get a judge who will sit in that room? So these are things, but we need to pray. We need to pray because the other aspects of those people and the kind of contribution they have made to this Mother Ghana. Sometimes sitting at where I sit, you cannot overcome. Look at Duncan Williams. Look at Professor Pokunyana. Look at Sankran Chankra, Ajina Sari,
Dagwood Mills,
Istud Anaba.
Justice Akrofi.
Look at their contribution.
Joyce Aye.
Forget about like them or hate them. Forget about. Look at their contribution to building this country. It will be like a family that is the siblings who have conspired to go and kidnap their father and mother.
But is that an excuse? Is that an excuse?
I'm not giving an excuse. I'm praying that it doesn't happen.
Okay.
But we are praying against the bad. They are praying against the bad. That it doesn't happen. Because sitting at where I sit, as an elder in the Church of Pentecost, and the radical revolution that Professor Pokunyina has brought to the church and the country as a whole, if the politicians had given him way, the cathedral could have been built.
I see.
So, but I don't want to say he was not giving, because I know he did same for us at Millennium City.
Right.
Everybody who goes there.
Right. It's a good facility. I've been there.
But he used 10 years to do it. Just 10 years. So he could have done, and that's why it was the church. And you know, Pentecost, our money is highly audited. Our auditing system, even as an elder, as you are collecting the money and pastor is sitting there.
It's nodding, it's counting.
As well, we don't play with accountability at all.
I see.
So if the same system of accountability maybe had happened here, it would be a different story.
I see.
But no politician will give a pastor 330 million Ghana that go and build a cathedral. Politician won't find mount. The thing will be in his hand. Then you will say that we are eating it. Meanwhile, it is in his hand, so who will eat more? So don't blame the purpose and think that.
I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that if you're given an opportunity and you're giving leadership role, the uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
For that one, once we do the investigation, the report will be made known. Everybody will see the report. Because you are building a cathedral, there should be nothing that should be concealed.
I see.
I'm for that. Let's do proper auditing, and the president has promised that the proper auditing will be done, and we are going to go that way. But we need to engage them, listen to their side of it before. But the little information that I have,
Sunrise.
I'm just waiting for the professional auditing
in the morning.
I see. Let's talk about the chieftaincy institution in the country. Yeah, it's your turf. What do you know?
In fact, for the chieftaincy, it's just like the religious affair that we are discussing. The chieftaincy has both good and bad aspects.
Right.
Good aspect to the extent that, in fact, in times past, they were like the development agents.
That's right.
For the DCs.
That's right.
But I think the politicians took that power from them. And they were no more development agents. They now became ceremonial pouring of libations and those kind of things. Then sitting there receiving pastors and receiving politicians and just praising them and the politicians. But now, President has given them back the power. They are now back to the ministry. So the chiefs are now coming back to take their cap of development agents. And they work together with the DCs, the assembly members, to make sure that every chief develop his area.
Okay.
And that is a good aspect of the ministry that we have now.
But what do you see?
The bad aspect
lots
is
of
lot
divisions and disputes and.
Because when mineral is found, it now becomes an avenue for dispute, conflict, unrest, just as you see in most mineral endowed countries. And that is what is rearing its head in Ghana. So boundary disputes are now becoming problems. Chieftaincy disputes are now becoming problems. Imagine a chief who used to be in his palace, no resource. He was just there pouring libation. All of a sudden they say, oh, there's gold prospecting in the land and there's gold deposit in the land. Then you now see that people will be coming that they are the real owners of the stool. And then gradually you see a businessman who will put somebody and be sponsoring him with the idea that once you become the chief, the gold deposit, when it is man, you pay man. And that is what is bringing most of the chieftaincy disputes. And it is making it very hectic. Very, very hectic. So what we are doing is we want to be as fair as possible. And we don't want to infuse partisan politics into the chieftaincy.
Is it not already there?
We must do what we can to make sure we reduce it. Because it is part of the cost. There are two things. The mineral, identification of mineral deposits in most of the jurisdictions of the stools and partisan politics. So these are the two things that is disturbing our chieftaincy. And when that happens, you need somebody who can speak the truth. But once the truth is not spoken at the first instance, then you have a prolonged chieftaincy dispute. So we are forming a committee with people of high pedigree, not merely partisan, one-sided partisan.
Right.
And when that committee is formed, you will see them.
The use of guns, pump action guns, and you see them following the chiefs around with these guns. In the past, we knew of musketry and gunpowder. Where from this gun business?
It is something maybe we need to discuss with the houses of chiefs, because it is becoming a headache. Even a friend of mine and a brother was hurt by one of those things, and it is not a good news, which I don't want to discuss here, but it is something we have to discuss with Nananum. If culture is dynamic, so if there comes a time that a portion of your culture is becoming problematic, you need to find a way. You know, Panjaren and those things used to be part of our culture. How did we overcome them? Well, if we are able to overcome them, then gradually the shooting and the this and this, it even does not make the beauty of our culture listen. And even if those guns shooting and this, it can be in the night. You understand? Most spiritual aspect of the stools and those things are done in the night. So why should we be doing this in the daytime, obstructing businesses, obstructing productivity, reducing productivity, and all those things? So maybe it's an area we have to look at.
I don't want to remind you of your pain, but then you can add that to what happened at Nungwa. You can add that to Kofi Adumawa when his problem.
I didn't want to mention that.
Yes,
but if you have mentioned
that's it. I mean,
there are evidence that we can use to make a case, and the case must be made. But the chiefs, anyway, they were the neglected part of our national development. Do you know, if you go to a house of chiefs or a pool of chiefs, they are professors, engineers, accountants, lawyers. They are high-class social capital. So I don't think it will be difficult convincing them. They will agree.
But somebody died at Nungwa.
I know.
Kofi Aduma's one eye is gone.
And so
you lost a relative.
Exactly. That in itself will make my case, buttress my point, for the chiefs to agree in what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
So the bottom line is what? The
bottom line is that we'll find a way of convincing them that culture must be dynamic. This aspect of our culture, the shooting of the guns and this, let's find an alternative to it. And I know they will agree.
But not to ban the use of guns.
Do I have the locals as a politician to ban them? But the Constitution says you cannot even legislate against chieftaincy, anything concerning them without consulting them. So that's why I'm saying that we will consult them to plead with them. Culture is dynamic. This aspect of our culture, the shooting of the guns and this thing, let's find an alternative to it. And if that one happens, then we can move to the next action. Because it's both chieftaincy and national security issue. But if I sit here, Johnny, and say I'm going to ban because of Kofi Aduma, I'm going to, as a minister, I'm going to ban. They'll ask you, what is your locus?
But you as minister control the regional minister is the boss of RegSec.
Johnny, when you are dealing with chieftaincy, control is not there. We choose Westwell.
No, but I'm saying you control.
But it's a fact.
You control the MMDCE's regional ministers.
You are the head of DISEC.
How do you ensure that what you're saying now, if you agree with the chiefs and you come to a certain agreement, how are you going to empower the MMDCEs, for example, to implement
the
what
beauty
you are
of it is
about?
that when you go to the National House of Chiefs, the leadership of the National House also have authority on the chiefs. So that I know where we are going to pass it through.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that it's consultation. You know, is lobbying, consultation, and convincing.
Right.
Once you're able to lobby some people and convince it and get it through, that one you will get it done. But if you say you are going to use force to control them, I bet you, not even the commander-in-chief. Like by now, would I be able to bring peace in most of those areas? But you could see that a big chief is mediating. Consulting, using customary processes. That's how you deal with the chieftaincy issues. But the politicians are always mindful when we are talking on matters concerning chieftaincy. We are very careful.
I know you'll be careful.
Even the constitution itself is careful.
I know you'll be careful about those issues. Galamsey, are you also careful about it? Because a lot of chiefs have been fingered. I mean, Otunfor said to His Royal Majesty Asante Hene has had cause to distill many chiefs because he thought that there was ample evidence to show that they were involved in Galamsey.
Yeah. In fact, the kind of work the Otunfor is doing, if you yourself you go there, you will love him. And I believe that every paramountcy must find a way of doing that. And that brings back to the neglect of the chieftaincy aspect. The allowances given to them, the kind of poor remuneration given to them.
Right.
But I know His Excellency has promised that he will increase those kind of things. Just to so that we can influence them from engaging on some of those things. But there's a power that we have taken from them. Once that power is given to them, the chiefs will have the power to be able to summon people in their jurisdictions and be able to help control the Galamsey issue.
See, what do you do to relax?
Politics.
You do politics to relax.
Precisely.
A politician does politics to relax.
Precisely.
What kind of life is that?
It tells you that the work we do, we don't relax. It tells you the work we do, we don't relax. But honestly speaking, Roland,
Johnny,
our work is such that you hardly have time for yourself. And that's why most politicians who come to Parliament, by the time they exit, they get at least one or two of the chronic diseases.
Right.
That is the sad aspect of politics that we do. Myself, you know, I'm telling you 3 works I was supposed to do this very morning.
That's right. The female caucus. Going on a tour.
And here. And all this, yours just came. But when he mentioned that Johnny says, you know, as for Johnny's program,
Thank you
I've been watching him. So if my attendance will help build Johnny's work, let me also go there.
Thank you very much. And we are happy that you came.
So that is why I have come. But to say I'll relax, I'm a young man in politics. I'm a young man into politics. I want to use the best.
But you are 50 years old. You are not young.
I came in at 34 years old. And if you started contesting at 29 years.
Yeah, but you are 50 now. You cannot be young man.
But
you cannot be a young man.
No, in Ghana, have you gone to the ministry? I'm a lazy bum. Or a leggy bum. A leggy bum. So if you compare me to the age of a leggy bum, then I'm a young man.
Yesterday there was conversation about a new chamber and a hospital for parliamentarians. You mentioned that, look, the work toll on you is such that by the time you finish, if you're not careful, you may have a chronic disease, either kidney or liver or BP or something.
The truth of the matter is, have we completed Ridge Hospital?
No.
Have we completed Police Hospital?
No.
What is the distance from Parliament to Ridge Hospital?
Oh, it's just a walking distance.
It's just a walking distance. You see, some of those things, I went to US for a course, and they told us that, look, when you are legislating, you must when you are in your chamber and you are legislating, open the window and be looking at the impact of your legislation on the lives of the people. Don't just go there and be legislating. If you are building a hospital for the people, you have not finished that. You are building police hospital, you have not finished that. Then you say Parliament will be self-serving. Excuse me to say. And at this time, when even we were part of people who even marched to the Bank of Ghana hospital saying that it is not worth it, then how will it be possible for us to say that we are now coming to build a Parliament of Ghana? Have we gone to the Bank Hospital and we are sacked? Have we gone to Maritime Hospital and we are sacked? 37 and we are sacked? No. The money you will use to build a new hospital for Parliament, use part of that money to upgrade and complete Ridge Hospital to a very good standard, so that even if you have emergency in Parliament and you go there, they will prioritize you as MP.
Right.
These are things we should do. University of Ghana Hospital, medical center, where even when the Minister for Health was sick, was it not Sunday? When he went there, he got well.
He went to rest.
He went to rest. Yeah. You see, so these are things we should do. the conversation, if you don't take it, by the time you finish building the chamber and the hospital, we will be back to military rule.
I see.
Yes.
So the hospital is out of the picture.
The hospital and the chamber should be out for now. Other than that, by the time we finish completing them, there will be no election for you to say that we are in a democratic country. We'll be going to a fifth republic.
I see.
No. Ghana, if you look at the tempo of the youth, we need to
slow down.
We need to slow down. We need to tone down.
The Hajj village and the terminal.
Private sector
Okay.
driven and with some kind of innovation. That one. You see, if you get that opportunity, like the same National Mosque, it was a private sector private sector, non-governmental organization. The Hajj village is saying these are innovations. You understand?
So it's not government's money.
Oh no.
But so why people say it's government's money? You're wasting money.
No, it's not. It's not. You see, those days we used to have these same opportunities in the Christian fraternity when money used to come from Rome.
Sunrise on 3FM.
Islam is about 17%, 20% in Ghana.
Right.
There are other international NGOs, Muslim NGOs, who are trying to make sure that they donate money for them to be able to build this kind of thing. If those monies are coming, will you say you will not receive them? The same thing is what happened to the National Mosque. And that's why we, the Christian faith, wanted to build this thing. But we were not getting, we are not exposed to the same avenues that the Muslims have. So you don't compare. If somebody will help them to build this, let them build. It's the same country. If you don't have that opportunity, don't say because of that you are forcing government to do the same thing for you. But matters of religion don't lie. If you lie about religion, then it ceases to be religion. But religion is about honesty. So if there's no honesty in religion, is it religion?
We have to wrap up the conversation. But before you go, I'm sure that you also have a favorite food, don't you?
And favorite food?
Yes.
Tea.
Bono Man's favorite food is
My
tea.
favorite, if you want me to be here the next time, when I can give me Lipton tea.
Bono Man.
It's tea.
What happened to the yam and all the...
I'm a yam farmer.
Right.
I'm a yam farmer, I'm a maize farmer, I'm a serious farmer.
I see.
You know, I'm a publisher and a farmer at the same time.
But
the publishing, as I'm writing the books, I'll be taking tea. So tea
it's become your thing.
So I can sit for 13 hours writing. Once I get my tea, even when you greet me, I don't want to respond.
but if you are farming, like Minta Kando, like... a couple of farmers, Motala and many others. Why do we keep still importing food? Are you not planting enough?
I'm into cashew tree crop.
Okay.
I'm into leguminous crop. It is in groundnuts. I'm into maize and this kind of thing. That's what I do.
But we eat groundnut here. We eat maize here. We eat yam.
A man alone cannot feed them.
But I'm saying that in Parliament, I can count at least 50 people that I know.
The truth is that we are not being honest to ourselves. Maybe President Mahama will fix it.
What's wrong?
It's a matter of identifying the serious farmers, who are about 20 of them, give them the needed support like we did with the pharmaceutical company,
right,
and tell them to go into farming. When they finish, they should use their produce to feed the schools. By the time the students complete the 3 year, their taste and preferences
would have
been tuned to the local rice and local food. Then when they go to their house, they are used to that, they will be buying.
Have you said this to President Mahama?
Oh, President Mahama himself is a farmer.
I know, but have you said this to him?
I don't want to bring cabinet.
No, I'm not asking you to bring cabinet. I'm asking you if you have said this to him. I'm not asking you to discuss cabinet.
I didn't see it, but he said it.
Okay, he said it himself. Okay, so we trust that it's going to be done.
Thank you.
In terms of music, what do you dance to? Don't tell me classical music.
Oh, you are asking Pentecost elder that classical music. Oh.
Look, find me Kweku Jesse or Francis J. Kweku Jesse, Francis J. or Eldamriku. Find me.
You know, because I'm in Pentecost, Wombo.
So are you one of those people who does? You're one of them.
Glory.
So typically, I mean, when you go to church, what do? You preach, you sing.
By the grace of God, I'm bestowed It's most of the talent. I'm a preacher. I'm a counselor.
Okay.
Add for the word of knowledge, word of counseling. I have that one.
I see.
And I can look at your face and give you the best counseling. And if you don't take care every day, you'll be looking for me. Those things God has given them to me.
I see.
So these are the future.
But you don't sing?
No, I'm a prayer warrior.
I see. Prayer warrior. Wow. So you're one of those who disturb the people with plenty fasting.
Oh, no. We have a team of a group of people that we pray. And you know, that's how the world should be. That's how the world.
I see. Prayer warrior, how does your spiritual weapon sound like?
Oh, that. But you,
does it pay or two?
You can imagine where I am now. But Johnny, honestly speaking, it is not an easy task to be at where we are, unless by divine orchestration.
Right.
And from 2004 to date, we have a long-standing prayer team. We pray 1 week every month. 1 week every month.
Not many people know this about this part of you.
No. You don't need to. You see, as a true believing Christian, you don't be telling people what you do.
Right.
Always have the condition that
God knows.
Yeah, God knows. Even when I'm the type, the politician, what I do to people say, oh, this one you have to let people know. No. God knows. It's God who reward. And when God identify your good gestures as rewarding you, people will open their mouth and say, how? Wow. How did it happen? Then that's how God works. The people were shocked when my name was mentioned as Minister for Local Government. Were you not shocked?
I was shocked.
Precisely.
Were you fasting then?
That is the working of
Were
God.
you fasting and waiting for your green letter?
And let me tell you, I'll tell you just one. The kind of spiritual exercise that we did for President Mahama to come, you'll be shocked.
Hey,
yes.
You were in the tower?
We went around about most part of the country.
I see.
With prayers and organization.
But the MPP said the battle is the Lord's. How did
they were saying it, but they were not doing it. But we were doing it.
I see. If I don't leave you to go, I'll be in trouble myself. But thank you very much indeed for coming.
It's a pleasure.
We're grateful. We wish you all the best.
Thank you, brother.
And we pray that you will succeed and keep your word as well.
The other aspect is in the coming days will come near. You know, the common fund administrator is yet to be vetted. Once it's vetted and approved, together with the ministry, will come to you. You know, media general, you visit most of the remote part of the country. You identify people learning on the floor, dilapidated structures. These things will come to you for the data so that there will be quick response to this. So that partnership
keep watching Johnny's Bite as well.
We will.
But finally, the MMDCs, when are we to expect the list?
That one, I don't want to put pressure on the president, but I know it will be sooner. About 10 regions have been done and given to him.
Before the month ends.
Before the month. Me, myself, I wanted them to finish
this weekend.
But they can't. But the next 2 weeks, they will finish.
I hear you.
Latest, but the next 2-3 weeks, they will finish.
Ahmed Banda is MP for the good. Ahmed Ibrahim is MP for Banda. Sorry about that. Can I send him? I called him Ahmed Banda.
You see that they don't play Edam Reku. Look at how you are struggling getting Edam Reku.
No, don't mind it.
But you had Abin Waha.
Thank you.